Welcome back to the channel. Today we are exploring the fascinating world of the Liberty 1 cent coin from the United States of America, a small copper coin that carries a huge story of American history, culture, and economic development. The Liberty 1 cent coin, often associated with the famous Lincoln cent design, has been a part of everyday American life for more than a century. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, this coin became the first regular circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Before this change, most American coins displayed symbolic figures, such as Lady Liberty, rather than actual people. The introduction of Lincoln's portrait represented a major shift in American coinage tradition and marked a moment when the nation chose to celebrate one of its most respected presidents on its everyday currency. The coin was designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose portrait of Lincoln facing right became one of the most recognized images in American coin history. The obverse of the coin features Lincoln's calm and dignified profile along with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year of minting, while the reverse design has changed several times throughout the decades, reflecting different eras of American design and symbolism. The very first reverse design showed two wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America, which is why these early coins are commonly known as wheat pennies. These coins were produced from 1909 until 1958 and remain extremely popular among collectors today. In 1959, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, adding even deeper historical meaning to the coin. This design remained in circulation until 2008, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The Lincoln Memorial design was created by Frank Gasparo, and interestingly, if you look closer at the reverse side, you can actually see a tiny image of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, meaning that Lincoln appears on both sides of coin at the same time, a rare feature in world coinage. In 2009, the United States celebrated the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth by releasing 4 special reverse designs that illustrated important stages of his life, from his humble birth in a log cabin to his presidency during one of the most challenging periods in American history. These coins honor the journey of a man who rose from poverty to become one of the most influential leaders in the country's history. After 2009, the reverse design changed again to feature the Union Shield, symbolizing Lincoln's efforts to preserve the unity of the nation during the Civil War. The production of the Liberty 1 cent coin is handled by the United States Mint, which operates several mint facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins minted in different locations often carry small mint marks such as P, D, or S, and these tiny letters can make a big difference in the value of certain coins. Some Lincoln cents are extremely rare and valuable due to limited mintages, minting errors, or historical significance. For example, collectors around the world search for famous varieties like the 1909 SVB, the 1914D, and the legendary 1943 copper penny, which can sell for thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on condition. During World War II, copper was needed for military equipment. So in 1943, the U.S. Mint produced pennies made of zinc-coated steel instead of copper. These steel cents looked silver rather than the traditional brown color and became a unique chapter in American coin history. However, a few copper planchets were accidentally used in 1943, creating one of the rarest and most valuable error coins ever discovered. Collectors continue to search for these coins even today. Another interesting aspect of the Liberty 1 cent coin is how its composition has changed over time. Originally made mostly of copper, the coin was later adjusted in 1982 to a copper-plated zinc composition due to rising copper prices. Even though the materials changed, the iconic design and symbolism of the coin remain the same. For many Americans, the penny represents more than just money. It symbolizes tradition, history, and even childhood memories of saving coins in jars or piggy banks. Despite its small value, the penny has sparked many debates about whether it should continue to be produced, as the cost of minting a penny is often higher than its face value. Yet many people believe the coin should remain in circulation because of its cultural significance and historical importance. Coin collectors, known as numismatists, carefully study Liberty 1 cent coins to identify rare dates, mint marks, and special varieties that can make a coin extremely valuable. Even small details such as doubling in the lettering, off-center strikes, or unusual metal compositions can transform an ordinary penny into a highly sought-after collector's item. Today, millions of people across the world collect Lincoln cents as a hobby, searching through rolls of pennies hoping to discover a hidden treasure. The Liberty 1-cent coin has survived wars, economic changes, and more than a century of American history, while remaining one of the most recognizable coins ever produced. From the wheat reverse to the Lincoln Memorial and the modern Union Shield, each design tells a chapter of the American story and honors the legacy of President Lincoln, whose leadership during the Civil War helped shape the nation's future. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone who simply finds a penny on the ground, this humble coin reminds us that even the smallest piece of currency can carry an incredible story. As you continue collecting or exploring coins, always pay attention to the details because the next penny you find might hold history, rarity, and unexpected value. And that is the amazing story behind the Liberty 1-cent coin, a small copper symbol of American heritage that continues to inspire collectors and historians around the world. Step 1, the story of the 1962 Lincoln Memorial Cent, is a fascinating journey through American history, culture, and everyday life. This small copper coin may seem ordinary at first glance, but it carries a legacy connected to one of the most respected leaders in American history, Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln Cent series first began in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, and it became the first regular U.S. coin to feature a real historical person rather than a symbolic figure. By 1962, the Lincoln Cent had already been in circulation for more than half a century and had become one of the most recognized coins in the United States. The 1962 version continued the design known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, which had been introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the front of the coin, also called the obverse, you can see the familiar profile portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Brenner's design shows Lincoln facing to the right with a calm and thoughtful expression, symbolizing leadership, honesty, and unity. Above Lincoln's head is the famous motto, "In God We Trust," while the word liberty appears on the left side, representing the core value of American freedom. On the right side of the coin, you will find the year 1962, which marks the time when this particular penny was produced. Turning the coin over to the reverse side reveals the impressive image of the Lincoln Memorial, one of the most iconic monuments in the United States. This design was created by Frank Gasparo, who served as the chief engraver of the United States Mint. The reverse design shows the Lincoln Memorial building in remarkable detail, and if you look closely at the original coin under magnification, you can even see the small statue of Abraham Lincoln seated inside the memorial. This tiny detail is remarkable because it means Abraham Lincoln appears on both sides of the coin, a unique feature in American coinage. At the top of the reverse side are the words United States of America, while the phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, appears above the memorial, symbolizing the unity of the nation. At the bottom is the denomination 1 cent, reminding everyone of the coin's value. In 1962, the Lincoln Cent was made primarily from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it the rich reddish-brown color collectors often admire. The coin weighed about 3.11 grams and measured 19 millimeters in diameter, making it small yet durable enough for daily transactions. During that year, the United States Mint produced millions of these pennies to meet the needs of a growing economy and population. Most of the coins were struck at the United States Mint in Philadelphia, which at that time did not place a mint mark on the coin, meaning many 1962 pennies appear without any letter below the date. Another large number of coins were produced at the Denver Mint in Denver, and those coins can be identified by the small letter D located under the year 1962 on the obverse side. These two varieties, the 1962 and the 1962D, are among the most common Lincoln Memorial cents in circulation, but they are still important to collectors who enjoy building complete sets of U.S. pennies. In the early 1960s, America was experiencing a time of change and growth. The nation was deeply involved in the Cold War. The civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and technological advances were shaping the future. Yet despite these dramatic events, everyday life still involves simple transactions like buying a newspaper, candy, or a cup of coffee with a handful of coins, including the humble 1962 penny. For many Americans, the penny symbolized thrift and practicality, reminding people that even the smallest amount of money had value. Over the years, collectors have studied the 1962 Lincoln cent carefully, looking for rare varieties, mint errors, and high-grade examples that survived in excellent condition. While most circulated coins are worth only a few cents today, coins that remain in uncirculated condition with their original red color can be worth significantly more. Professional grading companies often classify these coins using a scale from poor to mint state, and a coin graded mint state 65 or higher can attract the attention of serious collectors. Some collectors also search for unusual mint errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet imperfections, which can increase the value of a coin dramatically. The 1962 Lincoln cent may not be the rarest coin in American history, but it represents an important chapter in the long-running Lincoln penny series that continues to this day. It also reminds us of the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, whose leadership during the American Civil War helped preserve the Union and shape the nation's identity. Today, millions of people around the world collect Lincoln cents because they are affordable, historical, and easy to find. A simple coin from 1962 can serve as a gateway into the fascinating world of numismatics, encouraging collectors to learn about history, economics, art, and national identity through coins. Many collectors remember the excitement of discovering their first old penny and pocket change, and coins like the 1962 Lincoln cent often spark that curiosity. Whether found in a coin jar, inherited from a family member, or purchased from a coin dealer, this small copper coin continues to connect generations of collectors. As time passes, fewer of these coins remain in pristine condition, making well-preserved examples increasingly desirable. In the end, the 1962 Lincoln Memorial cent is more than just a piece of metal worth 1 cent. It is a miniature work of art, a historical artifact, and a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry powerful stories about a nation and its people. For collectors, historians, and everyday coin enthusiasts, the 1962 penny remains a symbol of American heritage, linking the past to the present through the enduring image of Abraham Lincoln and the timeless values of liberty, unity, and perseverance. Step 2, the story of the 1982 Liberty 1 cent coin from the United States, is one of the most fascinating chapters in the history of American coinage, and collectors around the world continue to study this small copper-colored coin because it represents a major turning point in how pennies were produced. The coin most people call the Liberty 1 cent is officially known as the 1982 Lincoln cent, a coin that carries a portrait of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, on the front. This iconic design first appeared in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday and was created by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner. For decades, the Lincoln cent remained mostly unchanged, but the year 1982 became historically important because the United States Mint made one of the biggest changes in the penny's composition. Rising metal prices made it too expensive to continue producing pennies using mostly copper, so the mint decided to shift to a new metal mixture made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. Because this change happened in the middle of the year, the 1982 penny exists in several different varieties, which makes it extremely interesting for coin collectors and historians. When you look at the obverse or front of the 1982 Liberty 1 cent coin, you will see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right, with the word Liberty appearing beside him and the motto, "In God We Trust," written above his head. Beneath the date, you may also find a mint mark indicating where the coin was produced. During 1982, pennies were minted in Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark at that time, while those produced in Denver carry a small D. Each mint produced coins using both the older copper composition and the newer zinc composition, which created several distinct varieties. In fact, 1982 is famous among collectors because there are 7 major varieties of the coin, including large date and small date versions, as well as copper and zinc compositions. This combination of changes means that the 1982 penny is one of the most studied Lincoln cents ever produced. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the classic wheat-era successor design that was used for many decades, featuring the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C. This reverse design was introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln Memorial depiction allowed viewers to see a tiny representation of Lincoln's statue inside the monument, making the design both artistic and symbolic. The reverse also includes the words United States of America, the denomination 1 cent, and the national motto E pluribus unum. Although millions of Americans handle these coins every day in pocket change, few realize that the 1982 issue represented a historic shift in the materials used to produce U.S. coins. Before the change, pennies were composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. After the transition, they became 97.5% zinc with only a thin outer layer of copper, dramatically reducing production costs. For collectors, identifying the different varieties of the 1982 Liberty 1 cent coin has become an exciting challenge. Some varieties feature a large date, where the numbers in a year appear thicker and taller, while others show a small date, where the digits are slimmer and more delicate. Determining whether a coin is made of copper or zinc can also be done by weighing it. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc versions weigh around 2.5 grams. This small difference in weight helps collectors determine exactly which variety they have discovered. Because the year includes so many combinations of date styles, mint marks, and metal compositions, finding the rarest versions can be quite valuable. For example, the 1982 D small date copper cent is considered extremely rare and can sell for thousands of dollars when authenticated and graded in high condition. The popularity of the 1982 penny also highlights how coin collecting can turn everyday pocket change into hidden treasure. Many collectors still search through rolls of pennies hoping to discover one of the rare varieties. Although billions of pennies were minted that year, only a few rare combinations exist, making them highly desirable in the numismatic market. Coin grading also plays a major role in determining value. Professional grading organizations evaluate coins based on their condition, luster, strike quality, and preservation. A coin that appears almost perfect, often graded mint state 65 or higher, can be worth significantly more than a worn example that has circulated for decades. Another reason the 1982 Liberty 1 cent coin remains important is that it marks the end of an era for copper pennies in the United States. For more than a century, copper had been the primary metal used in 1 cent coins, but economic pressures forced the mint to adopt a cheaper alternative. This decision reflects a broader pattern in coinage history, where rising metal costs often lead governments to adjust the materials used in circulating coins. Similar changes have happened in other countries as well, making the 1982 penny a small but powerful symbol of economic adaptation. Collectors and historians often look back at coins like the 1982 Lincoln cent to understand how everyday objects can reflect larger historical trends. What might appear to be a simple 1 cent coin actually represents technology, economics, politics, and art combined into a single piece of metal. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln reminds Americans of the nation's history and values, while the design itself showcases the skill of early 20th century sculptors. Meanwhile, the shift from copper to zinc tells a story of changing economic realities in the late 20th century. Today, the 1982 Liberty 1 cent coin continues to capture the attention of collectors, historians, and YouTube audiences who enjoy learning about valuable coins hiding in ordinary change. Whether you find one in an old coin jar, a bankroll, or a family collection, it is worth taking a closer look. You might discover a rare variety that tells a fascinating story about American coinage history. Even if the coin is not extremely valuable, it still represents an important moment when the United States Mint changed the composition of one of the most widely used coins in the country. In the world of numismatics, small details often make the biggest difference, and the 1982 penny proves that even the smallest coin can carry a remarkable history. Tab 3, the 1984 Liberty 1 cent, also widely known as the 1984 Lincoln cent, is a fascinating coin in the history of United States currency and a favorite among coin collectors and numismatics enthusiasts. This small copper-colored coin may appear ordinary at first glance, but it carries a rich history connected to American culture, economics, and a legacy of one of the most respected presidents in the nation's history. The design of this coin features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has been used on the penny since 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The inscription Liberty appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the year 1984 is struck on the right side along with the mint mark if the coin was produced in a mint facility other than Philadelphia. Above Lincoln's head is a famous phrase, "In God we trust," a motto that has appeared on many U.S. coins for generations. The reverse side of the 1984 penny displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Inside the memorial building, if you look closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated between the pillars, making this coin historically unique because it features the same president on both sides of the coin. During the year 1984, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of these pennies across multiple facilities. The primary mint locations included Philadelphia, which produced coins without a mint mark, and Denver, which produced coins bearing the small d mint mark under the date. These coins were created primarily from a copper-plated zinc composition, a change that began in 1982 when rising copper prices forced the U.S. Mint to reduce production costs. As a result, the 1984 penny weighs about 2.5 grams instead of the heavier 3.11 gram copper pennies made in earlier decades. Even though the coin is mostly zinc inside, it still maintains the classic copper color that people associate with traditional pennies. This change in metal composition marked an important transition in American coinage and makes the pennies of the early 1980s an interesting subject for collectors who study minting changes and economic history. One of the reasons the 1984 Lincoln penny is often discussed among collectors is because of a well-known minting error called the doubled ear variety. On certain coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint, the ear of Lincoln appears doubled due to a die error during the minting process. This subtle but noticeable doubling can be seen clearly with magnification, and coins displaying this error can be worth far more than their face value. While an ordinary circulated 1984 penny might only be worth 1 cent, a coin showing the doubled ear error in excellent condition can sell for dozens or even hundreds of dollars depending on its grade. This is why collectors carefully examine their change, hoping to discover one of these rare varieties hidden among ordinary coins. The existence of such minting errors adds excitement to coin collecting, turning everyday currency into potential treasure. The historical significance of the Lincoln cent itself dates back to 1909, when the coin was first introduced to honor President Lincoln. Before that time, U.S. coins typically featured symbolic figures like Lady Liberty rather than real historical individuals. The introduction of Lincoln's portrait marked the first time a real person appeared on a circulating American coin, reflecting the deep national respect for the leader who guided the country through the Civil War and preserved the Union. The design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials, VDB, originally appeared on the reverse of the coin. Although those initials caused controversy when the coin first appeared, Brenner's design ultimately became one of the longest-running and most recognized designs in American coinage history. By the time the 1984 penny was minted, the Lincoln cent had already been part of American daily life for more than 70 years. The 1984 penny also reflects the economic and technological environment of the early 1980s. During this period, the United States was recovering from high inflation and economic challenges that had occurred in the late 1970s. Rising metal prices forced the U.S. Mint to reconsider how coins were produced, leading to the adoption of zinc cores for pennies beginning in 1982. This decision significantly reduced the cost of producing the coin while still maintaining its familiar appearance. The 1984 pennies were therefore part of a new generation of cents designed to be more economical while continuing the long tradition of the Lincoln cent design. Even though these coins were produced in enormous quantities, they represent an important chapter in the evolution of U.S. currency. Collectors often evaluate the value of a 1984 penny based on several factors, including its condition, mint mark, and whether it contains any minting errors. Coins in circulated condition usually have visible wear and are worth only their face value, but uncirculated examples with sharp details and bright luster can be more desirable. Professional grading services assign numerical grades to coins based on their condition, with higher grades indicating better preservation. A 1984 penny graded in mint state condition can sometimes sell for a few dollars or more, especially if it comes from a high-quality mint strike. Meanwhile, The famous doubled ear error variety can command significantly higher prices among collectors who specialize in Lincoln cent varieties. Another reason the 1984 Lincoln cent is interesting to collectors is its place within the broader Lincoln Memorial series, which lasted from 1959 until 2008. Throughout these decades, billions of pennies were produced, but subtle variations in dies, mint marks, and strike quality created many collectible varieties. Enthusiasts who build Lincoln cent collections often try to obtain one coin from each year and mint combination, including Philadelphia and Denver issues. Because the 1984 penny is relatively modern and widely available, it is often one of the coins that beginner collectors can easily obtain while building their collections. Yet the possibility of finding a valuable error coin keeps even experienced collectors searching through rolls of pennies. The cultural significance of the Lincoln cent also extends beyond coin collecting. For generations of Americans, pennies have been part of everyday transactions, childhood piggy banks, and charitable donations. Many people remember searching through jars of coins or saving pennies for good luck. The phrase, "a penny for your thoughts," reflects the coin's symbolic place in everyday language, while the image of Lincoln reminds people of the values of leadership, perseverance, and national unity. Even though modern economies rely increasingly on digital payments, the penny continues to serve as a reminder of America's long monetary history and the enduring legacy of President Lincoln. Today, the 1984 Liberty 1 cent remains a common but historically meaningful coin. While most examples are worth only a single cent, certain varieties, especially the doubled ear error, can be valuable discoveries for collectors. The coin also represents a moment of change in American coin production, when the U.S. Mint adapted to rising metal costs by switching to copper-plated zinc composition. For collectors, historians, and everyday citizens alike, the 1984 Lincoln penny serves as a small but powerful piece of American histo. Last step, the story of the 1992 Lincoln Memorial cent is one that fascinates collectors, historians, and everyday people who might unknowingly carry a valuable coin in their pocket change. When most people look at a penny, they see something small and ordinary, but the 1992 Liberty 1 cent coin hold a unique place in American coin history because of its design, its production era, and the rare varieties that have turned some of these pennies into highly valuable collectibles. The coin features a familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has appeared on the U.S. penny since 1909. This portrait was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials VB can be found on certain Lincoln cents and have become famous among coin collectors. By 1992, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for more than 8 decades, and its reverse design still displayed the iconic Lincoln Memorial, symbolizing the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the unity of the United States. The year 1992 was an interesting period for the United States Mint because millions of pennies were produced to meet the needs of the American economy. These coins were struck at several minting facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins produced in Philadelphia traditionally do not carry a mint mark, while those struck in Denver display the small letter D beneath the year on the obverse side. For most people using pennies in daily transactions, the difference between these mint marks goes unnoticed, but for collectors, the mint location can greatly influence the rarity and value of a coin. During 1992, billions of pennies were produced, making the coin appear very common at first glance. However, within that large mintage, certain rare varieties were accidentally created during the minting process, and those varieties are what make the 1992 Lincoln cent particularly exciting for collectors. One of the most famous varieties of this coin is known as the close AM variety on the reverse side. On a standard Lincoln Memorial penny from the early 1990s, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse are spaced slightly apart. However, on a very small number of 1992 pennies, the space in between these letters is unusually tight, almost touching each other. This subtle difference occurred because of the die mix-up at the mint, where a reverse die intended for a proof coin design was accidentally used in regular circulation coin production. These small differences are extremely important in the world of coin collecting, where even a tiny variation can dramatically increase a coin's value. As a result, the 1992 close AM penny has become one of the most sought-after modern U.S. coin varieties, with some examples selling for thousands of dollars depending on their condition. The material composition of the 1992 Lincoln cent also reflects an important shift in U.S. coinage history. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper, giving them a heavier weight and a rich metallic color. However, due to the rising cost of copper, the composition of the penny was changed in 1982 to primarily zinc with a thin copper coating. The 1992 penny follows this modern composition standard, containing about 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. This change made the coin lighter and cheaper to produce while still maintaining the classic copper appearance that Americans were familiar with. Although the metal content may seem like a minor detail, it is actually a key part of understanding the evolution of the U.S. penny and the economic factors that influence coin production. The design of the 1992 Lincoln cent remains one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. On the obverse side, Abraham Lincoln faces to the right, accompanied by the word liberty, the date 1992, and the national motto, "In God We Trust." This simple but powerful design captures the spirit of American values and honors one of the nation's most respected leaders. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial stands proudly in the center, symbolizing Lincoln's enduring legacy. If you look closely at the memorial on the coin, you can even see a tiny representation of the seated Lincoln statue inside the building, an incredible level of detail for such a small coin. This remarkable design feature makes the Lincoln Memorial cent one of the few coins in the world that depicts the same person on both sides of the coin. Collectors around the world continue to search through jars of pennies hoping to discover rare varieties like the 1992 Close AM. Stories often circulate about lucky individuals who found valuable coins in ordinary pocket change, reminding people that treasures can sometimes be hidden in the most unexpected places. While the majority of 1992 pennies are worth only their face value of 1 cent, the rare varieties can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition and rarity. Coins graded in high mint state condition by professional grading services can command especially high prices at auctions and coin shows, where collectors compete to add rare pieces to their collections. The popularity of the Lincoln cent series also reflects the deep cultural connection Americans have with their currency. Since its introduction in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln penny has become more than just a coin. It represents history, national pride, and the everyday economic life of the United States. Generations of Americans have grown up using pennies in daily transactions, saving them in piggy banks, and occasionally discovering unusual or valuable examples. The 1992 Lincoln cent continues this long tradition, serving as both a circulating coin and a collectible item that links modern collectors with over a century of American numismatic history. Another reason the 1992 penny attracts attention is the mystery and excitement surrounding minting errors. The process of producing billions of coins each year is incredibly complex, involving massive presses, precision dies, and strict quality control. Yet, even with advanced technology, small mistakes occasionally occur. These mistakes, known as mint errors or varieties, can include double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and unusual spacing and lettering. The Close AM variety of the 1992 penny is a perfect example of how a simple production mistake can transform an ordinary coin into a prized collectible worth far more than its original value. In the world of numismatics, every coin tells a story, and the 1992 Lincoln Memorial cent is no exception. It represents the ongoing legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the craftsmanship of the United States Mint, and excitement of discovering rare treasures in everyday currency. Whether you are a serious coin collector or simply someone curious about the coins in your pocket, the 1992 Liberty 1 cent coin reminds us that history can sometimes be found in the smallest and most overlooked places. The next time you come across a penny dated 1992, take a closer look at it, because that tiny piece of copper-colored metal might just hold a story worth far more than 1 cent.